I never thought a half-empty cup of coffee could change anyone's life, least of all mine. It was a freezing morning in December, the kind where the cold seeps through your bones no matter how thick your coat is. I was rushing to work, as usual, running late for another meeting that I didn't really care about, but that somehow felt more important than my own peace of mind. The city was just waking up, steam rising from manhole covers, streetlights flickering against the dawn. I stopped by my regular cafe, grabbed my usual black coffee, and stepped out into the chill. That's when I saw him, a young boy sitting by the cafe's sidewall, knees pulled to his chest, a thin blanket wrapped around him. He couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. His hair was messy and his eyes were tired but curious, watching people pass by as if each pair of shoes might stop and offer him a chance to be seen. I hesitated. Everyone else walked past. I told myself I was late, that someone else would help, but as I started to walk away, I heard him cough, a small, raspy sound that froze me in place. I turned back. Without thinking too hard, I walked up to him and handed him my coffee. "It's not much," I said awkwardly, "but it's warm." He looked at it like it was gold. "Thank you, sir," he said softly, his voice trembling from the cold. I wanted to say more, to ask his name, where his parents were, but the city was loud and my phone buzzed with another call from the office. So I smiled weakly, patted his shoulder, and left. I thought about that boy all day, and again the next morning. When I stopped by the cafe again, he wasn't there. A part of me felt relief, another part felt emptier than before. Time moved on. Years passed. Life went on as it does, in the blur of routines and responsibilities. I got promotions, bought a bigger house, upgraded my car, but sometimes on cold mornings I still thought about that boy with the soft voice and tired eyes. Maybe it was guilt, maybe it was hope. Either way, he stayed somewhere in my memory. Then one morning, almost 15 years later, something strange happened. The cafe I used to visit had changed ownership. A new sign hung above the door, Jacob's Place. It looked brighter, warmer somehow. Out of curiosity, I walked in. The air smelled of fresh coffee and cinnamon rolls. Behind the counter stood a young man in his mid-20s, wearing a simple black apron and the biggest smile I'd ever seen. "Good morning, sir," he said cheerfully. There was something about his face that tugged at a distant memory. I ordered my coffee and sat down near the window, watching him greet every customer with genuine warmth, not the forced politeness I was used to in business meetings. When he brought me my drink, he looked at me for a long moment. "You don't remember me, do you?" he asked quietly. I frowned, searching his face. "I'm sorry," I said. "Have we met?" He smiled softly. "A long time ago, you gave me your coffee. It was winter. I was sitting outside that old cafe trying to stay warm." My heart stopped. "That was you?" I whispered. He nodded, his eyes bright. "You probably don't know what that meant to me. That day I was hungry, cold, and ready to give up. But you stopped, you saw me. That cup of coffee, it wasn't just warmth, it was hope." I felt my throat tighten. "What happened to you after that?" I asked. He smiled again, pride glowing in his voice. "A woman from the church nearby saw you give me that cup. She came over later and talked to me. She found me a shelter, helped me enroll in school. Years later, I got a scholarship, worked part-time at a cafe, learned everything I could about the business. When the old owner retired, I bought this place and reopened it. I named it Jacob's Place because," he paused, "because that was my name before the world forgot me." I couldn't speak. My eyes burned as I looked around the cafe, the laughter, the smell of freshly baked bread, the gentle hum of music. It wasn't just a business, it was a sanctuary. "You did all this," I said softly, "because someone gave you coffee?" He shook his head. "No, because someone reminded me that I mattered." I sat there, unable to stop smiling, unable to stop remembering that tiny moment all those years ago that I'd thought meant nothing. He continued, "I try to do the same now. Every cup we sell, we donate one to someone in need. It's how I honor where I came from." I laughed quietly, shaking my head. "You're doing far more good than I ever did, Jacob," he smiled. "We all start somewhere, sir. You started it for me." He refused to let me pay for my coffee that day. Instead, he handed me a small cup with a note on the sleeve that read, "Thank you for the first cup." As I stepped outside into the winter sunlight, I realized how strange life was, how one small act, one quiet moment of kindness could ripple through time and change the world in ways we never see. I looked back through the cafe window and saw him laughing with his customers, alive and full of light. That boy I once pitied was now the man who reminded others they weren't invisible. And for the first time in years, I felt peace, real deep peace, because I finally understood that kindness isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, honest moments that whisper to a hurting heart, "You're not alone." As I walked away, snow began to fall, just like that day so long ago, but this time it didn't feel cold. It felt like grace.